This is John Reed, JohnERP.com. Last video of the shoot. I've only got 6 minutes left in the flip, so here it is for the SAP Solution Series. How to make a bad webinar. There's a lot of really bad webinars out there, and bad webinars mean that I won't bother to attend it live. I might check it out on replay, and I really won't have the impact I'm looking to have. How to make a bad webinar. First, to assume that you're having an interactive webinar because you asked a couple of audience polls. That's just faux interactivity. That's not really the interactive nature of a webinar at all. Really, the best practice of webinars is you should have a public streaming chat the entire time, which I'm sure is terrifying to many vendors. But there should be a streaming public chat that anyone who wants to participate in can participate in from the get-go, from the beginning of the webinar. And someone who's putting on the webinar from the beginning should be prepared to interrupt the speaker at any time with things that are relevant from the chat that the speaker needs to address. We don't want to have a 55-minute webinar with oh, now it's time for questions, and then there's like 2 questions and it's the top of the hour. I secretly think that's a technique for basically suppressing questions, because after you sit through 55 minutes of slides, you have no questions left. You just want out. So that's not interactive at all. So what you need then is you need someone, an additional person, not the speaker, but someone who's qualified and capable, not just as an administrative person, but someone who knows the subject, in the chat, in the public chat, interacting with people in the free streaming chat, answering their questions, and calling attention to any that the speaker needs to address right away. There can also be a formal questions queue, and that queue can be lined up and monitored, but again, the speaker should be interrupted at any time that they're covering stuff over an important question that needs to be handled right away. Now, of course, many of the questions can be saved until a QA period at the end, which should be a full 15 minutes, not just like 2 minutes as the wrap. But basically, with another person monitoring the chat and with questions being handled in a thoughtful, direct way, and the speaker being used to interruptions, so the speaker doesn't have to monitor all the conversation, but should be aware that it's happening. That's going to help a lot. The speaker should have a cam as well. We should see the speaker speaking. Maybe even the additional chat person, administrator, should also have a cam as well. You might even open up the cam to a couple participants, but I know that sounds wild and crazy compared to how most people do webinars. And then you have your 15 minutes of total free-for-all Q&A at the end. Not a whole series of planted and orchestrated questions, but live without a net, taking on whatever questions, no matter how difficult they might be, and basically having a real honest back and forth where nothing is really off limits. And if something is, you say why, and that's that. When the top of the hour hits, people seem to think that the whole world is coming to an end. That's not the case. You can, if there's a lot of important questions happening, the whole, oh, I'll get back with you guys later by email is kind of crummy. What you want to do there is basically say, we've hit the top of the hour. Anyone who needs to leave can go now. And the rest of you can stick around for a few more minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll hit the rest of the questions. I don't understand why it's so difficult for people to wrap their heads around this idea. You can let people leave, and more can stay if they want. It's done in real person events all the time. Dismiss the room, let individuals come up to the speaker. You can simulate the exact same thing in a webinar format. It doesn't have to end. Nothing, no huge Cinderella-like blow-up happens at the top of the hour if you continue broadcasting your webinar. So let it go. Let it run a little bit if it needs to. It can still be under some control, but it can be structured in a way that opens it up. So anyway, it's very, very rare that I go to a good webinar, so I thought I would mention what I think works well. In my opinion, the best webinar platform I've seen for doing the kinds of things I'm talking about is done by Adobe, but there may be more, and I'm sure there's virtual event capabilities beyond webinars that are good as well. But that's my rant for today. This is John Reed of JohnERP.com.